Hey guys, what's going on? You found Nintoonist here with another Team Fortress video that has absolutely nothing to do with Team Fortress. I'm just gonna quickly cut right to the chase here. I was gonna make this like a rant video, but to be frank, I'm kind of tired right now. I mean, I'm feeling a little more energetic than I was before. That's good. I'm feeling a little more energetic. But, you know, I mean, I'm still not, like, 100%. I'm not feeling 100% right now. I might be coming down with a little something, but, I should be okay. I still wanted to make this video regardless, because I need something for Thursday, and I've been meaning to make this particular video for a solid month and a half, almost 2 months, actually. Probably a little longer, actually. Might be exaggerating at this point, but I don't really know. We've probably all been, like, in flame wars before, right? I'm sure most of you are grown-ass adults, and you probably, like, tend to stray away from that kind of stuff because you realize how much of a waste of time it was. But sometimes when you're a kid, you know, you have nothing better to do because flame wars, in a sense, they're literally like child arguments. And you would think it's okay if it's just child arguments. They're just doing this as kids. They'll grow out of it when they get older. But most of the people, I think, who get involved in, like, these flame wars, like, on YouTube comment sections and, like, Facebook comment sections are, like, adults. You know, because, like, sometimes you just see, like, news threads on Facebook, and, like, the news things on, like, Facebook are so dumb. It'll be like, oh, yeah, Donald Trump farted and his toupee came off. Isn't that hilarious? And then people will start arguing about his politics and stuff, saying really, really mean things to each other. Things that they would never have the sack to say to somebody in the eyes. Ever. And that's sort of what my video is going to be about. It's going to be about keyboard warriors. And to start here, I would like to say that, once again, I love you guys. Just want to quickly say that again, because I do. I love all of you. And because I love you guys, and because I do aspire to one day probably make my channel bigger, I'm almost at 200 subs, by the way. If you aren't subscribed and you're watching this video, if you could just hit that little red button right next to the number that says 191, that'd be really, really great there if you could just hit that subscribe button. Even if you're not going to watch my videos, it means a lot to me if you just hit that, if you hit that little sub button. It really means a lot to me. But, yeah, I aspire to, nah, fucking aspire. I keep using that word by accident. Sometimes I lose my train of thought when I make these videos, you know? But I want to reply and interact with you guys as much as I can. Like, Goron, I saw your message, but I've been super busy recently. I'll see what I can do about, like, playing Battle Block with you. I'm sure it'll be fun, but, like, I don't know. I'm kind of sick of Battle Block. I played that game with, McClangus or Bandypat or Steven or Texas Man or whatever the fuck you want to call him. But we'll see. Like, I'll message you back and I'll see what we can do about that. But, see, like, I want to play with Goron because I want to interact with him as a subscriber. He's been incredibly supportive. Like, throughout, like, the course of, like, my channel's history. He's been super kind to me. Like, only giving me, like, nice, like, comments and constructive criticism and stuff. And I greatly appreciate that, so I want to interact with him. And I want to interact with all my subscribers. I'm not a major YouTube channel, obviously. And they have an excuse. They can't reply to all their comments. That's impossible. Markiplier has, like, 10 million, like, he almost has 10 million subscribers. Oh, my God, I'm coughing. And, he can't reply to all those comments. It's impossible. Even if he wanted to, like, he can't reply to all those comments. I think he says something about, like, wanting to, but let's be honest, he's just kind of being a bitch. He's just kind of being a bitch. Just kidding, Markiplier. We love you, even though I barely really watch your channel anymore. He plays a lot of horror games. I don't really like horror games. But for me, there's no excuse. Because I have, like, almost 200 subscribers on my YouTube channel, and I average about 1 comment per video. And some of you, like, don't even comment at all on some of my videos. I have been noticing that, like, more and more, like, commenters have been happening recently. I really appreciate you guys commenting on my videos. I would love to talk with you guys and interact with you guys. It really would, not only be beneficial to me, I would enjoy it. I enjoy communicating with you guys most of the time, and that's what I want to get into here. You probably noticed the title of this video. It's about, you know, keyboard warriors and offended people. If you don't know what a keyboard warrior is, look it up on the Urban Dictionary. They have pretty much the most accurate definitions of words almost all of the time. So, you know, I would definitely just, like, type in, like, keyboard warrior into Urban Dictionary for you to learn what they are. But if you don't feel like doing that, I'll explain it to you right here. There are people who feel like, you know, like, they need to fix the world and, like, fix their problems on the internet, and they say shit, like, to people behind a screen that they would never possess the cojones to say to somebody in real life. And people get offended on the internet. Every single day on Facebook, these so-called, like, in their brains, they think they're lawyers, right? Because they think they know everything. But it's like, oh, my comment got the most likes. That's why my point of view is better than yours. But they argue with each other mercilessly, saying shit, horrible things that they would never say to them in real life because they just don't possess the balls, you know? And that originated on YouTube. There is a religious fight in the YouTube comment section of some video every day, like, on YouTube. And if I'm wrong about that, I'm wrong about that, but hey, it happens pretty often. You gotta admit. It's not as bad as, like, say, Tumblr. I mean, Tumblr is just the shittiest website in the world. But, you get the idea. And eventually, that's bound to happen to me. I can take it. You know, it's happened to me before. I've had people comment on my videos saying that, like, nobody loves me. Like, this was a really long time ago. This is before I even had, like, 100 subscribers on YouTube. When people said, like, oh, no one loves you because they feel like, oh, they could get to me. They can hurt this guy's feelings. And, you know, I was like, if you receive, like, those kinds of comments, quite frankly, what I do is that I either just ignore them, which is the best course of action to do, or block them. And honestly, back then, I was a little less mature. So, I mean, I blocked them. Those guys are still blocked on my channel. I mean, I don't know why. Like, they still are. I mean, they probably... Morty... sorry, I burped again. They... God, why do I keep burping when I'm making fucking videos? Like, why? Like, they probably don't even know I exist anymore, so really, it's no big deal. But, yeah, it's crazy how, like, how many people, like, get offended and, like, start arguing with each other on the internet and stuff. I remember there's another video, I'll probably, like, put a link to it at the end of this video, because it kind of relates to the topic I'm talking about here. Where I was part of a Smash Brothers Facebook group that I left because, like, these guys were just being a bunch of dicks to me. And all I was doing was trying to learn more about Smash Brothers and learn more about the game. But then I thought to myself, okay, really, if I'm gonna be treated like this on this page, fuck this page, you know? Like, I just left. It was awful. And, you know, as a YouTuber, I know that's gonna happen to me. I'm gonna get comments that are gonna be generally pretty annoying, and, you know, you gotta deal with those. And like I said before, like, there's no excuse for me to not reply to all my comments, because I want to interact with you guys. And, like, when I see a comment that's so ignorant and so stupid, I wind up replying to them, because I just have this mentality that I have to reply to, like, all of you guys, like, all of my fans, all of my subscribers, and anybody who just generally comments on my videos, because I want to interact with you guys. I want to say nice things to you. I want to get you to stay, you know? That's what I want to do. But now I know that even in the small state of my YouTube channel, that I can't do that. There was one YouTuber that I blocked for a little while just because they were so fucking annoying. Like, I don't know, I said something in a video that offended them. It was one of my most viewed videos, by the way. You guys already probably know who and what I'm talking about. But, I don't know, like, they got really, really mad, and I was just simply, like, trying to, like, calmly convince them that, like, there was no reason to be upset or anything. But then they're just like, no, you're wrong. You're such a shitty person. I once believed in you as a YouTuber. I thought you were one of the good ones. They actually said that, by the way. They said they thought I was one of the good ones, and that really fucking made me mad. Like, holy shit. And this was all because I just happened to say one thing that just rustled their, like, fucking jimmies. And, you know, rustling somebody's jimmies isn't enough of, like, that isn't enough validation to, like, consider somebody, like, a shitty person, or to just, like, you know, like, claim an entire, like, YouTube channel or organization is bad, you know? That didn't really come out right. What I'm saying is that if you like somebody, like, you shouldn't, like, take one flaw that they have and completely throw that out the window. Like, say, like, you meet, like, the perfect girl, right? You love this girl, you guys have such a phenomenal time together, but, like, you think differently about politics. If you guys, like, relate to each other super well, you have such a great connection with one another, like, why would you dump that? Why would you, like, dump that whole relationship just because, like, you think differently on one thing? Where's the fucking logic in that? There isn't any. And I had one YouTuber that I hated to have to do it, but, like, they were just so fucking, like, irritating. They just would not listen to reason no matter what. I was wasting my time. I was in a YouTube comment section. I was just completely wasting my time. Like I said, YouTube comment sections are just, most of the time, like, with big YouTube channels, they're such a waste of time. And now I know, with small channels, they're a waste of time as well. To the point where I actually blocked them. Like, I just had to block them because I was just so sick of seeing their dumb, ignorant fucking comments, you know? Like, it was just so stupid, and people get heated over those kinds of things, and so was I. And like I said, normally I would just ignore those kinds of things. I almost always ignore those kinds of things, because, quite frankly, I'd rather live my life and enjoy my life, make YouTube videos, because that's what I like to do, rather than waste my, like, already short life, like, just arguing with people in a goddamn internet section. Honestly, in my eyes, there is no bigger loser than a keyboard warrior. Absolutely no bigger loser than that. Like, it's the biggest waste of time I could possibly imagine. They're the biggest losers I could possibly imagine. And they're just, like, fucking... ugh. And it's just the biggest waste of your life you can imagine. Wouldn't you rather want to create, like, fun memories for yourself? But, like, no, oh, there's this person on the internet thinks differently than I do. Whew. And send. It's like, Jesus Christ, like, get a life. And I know what you're thinking. Like, you probably think, like, oh, wow, you know, there are probably some people who, like, think what I do is stupid. Like, because I use the word pathetic when it comes to keyboard warriors very liberally. Because, honestly, I think they're pathetic. I pity them very, very much. And, like, some people might think the same way about me. Like, oh, this guy doesn't even have many subscribers. Why does he, like, continue making YouTube videos? Well, one, because it's not about that. And two, it's because I enjoy it. It doesn't matter what your situation is. You could be dirt poor. If you have something that you love, if you're doing something that you love, you get the opportunity to do it. You get the opportunity to do something you love. You are a successful person. In that moment, you are a successful person. That's how I define success. Not by how much money you have, but by your mindset and how happy you are. Because happiness, even in the darkest of times, can be flicked on just like a light. Albus motherfucking Dumbledore said that. Yeah. Yeah, you want some fucking wisdom? How about Albus goddamn Dumbledore, bitch? Holy shit! And this particular commenter made me feel like such a piece of shit. Even the Game Grumps have talked about it before. They say, like, oh, you could get, like, 1,000,000 good comments, but then you get one bad one, and it's the dumbest thing, because, like, it just makes you feel like such a piece of shit. But then it's like, look at all these people. Look at all these people. Look at Goron. Look at DC Clements. Look at, like, fucking, look at Dirtman. Like, you guys support me so much. And then I just get one bad comment of somebody not supporting me. And then I just get in this whole mentality, like, I'm a bad YouTuber. It's moronic. But that's the way me, and apparently a lot of other successful and non-successful content creators think. Artists are always afraid that their stuff's lame. And what happened is that this person just kept getting offended by my videos so much, apparently. Apparently I always talked about things that offended them. Like, I was talking about feminism with, in the Mario Party videos with Matt, Dane, and Dennis. The second episode in particular, if you want me to be precise. And I don't know, she was, like, commenting some shit like, oh, like, if you're not a feminist, you're a misogynist. And, like, oh, that's fine. Like, you're just voicing your opinion. I mean, I strongly disagree with that. But, I mean, that's fine. You're just expressing your opinion. And I replied to that comment. I'm like, oh, these are the jokes, you know? Take it for what you will. That's pretty much the best thing you could say in that scenario, because I wasn't gonna argue with this person. I'd rather make videos. I don't give a fuck what they think, you know? Like, it's just, I'd rather just do me. I'd rather just do me, like, not do this. I'd rather do me, not do that. And I saw this comment because I unblocked that person after the last time they went, like, apeshit on one of my videos. But then, like, I thought to myself, like, they're just voicing their opinion. Am I, like, gonna be, like, the Cuban government right now, or, like, fucking Russia, and just be like, no. This is not what you say against the motherland. Like, I'm not gonna do that. So I thought to myself, even though I didn't like this comment, I'm not gonna, like, delete it, you know? Like, what kind of asshole would that make me? And then I replied to that, and then they replied to it again, and they're just like, no, like, you're still being a douchebag. And then I just think to myself, like, okay, you know what? I honestly don't care anymore. It's just one viewer, and then I just, like, wound up blocking them again. And I hate having to do that. I absolutely hate having to do that, but I'm gonna keep seeing this ignorant person's comments, you know, and I'm gonna want to keep replying to them because I'm like a small YouTube channel. If I were a bigger YouTube channel and there were like a whole meta comments down there in that crazy like hellscape of a fucking like land, like, you know, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care. Like, I would just let it be. Like, I would go through all the good comments, like reply to all the good comments. Yay, yay! But when it's the only comment on your video and I don't reply to it, I feel like I'm, like, deprogressing myself from, like, success as a YouTuber, you know? I feel like I have to reply to the only comment that's on my video, but then, like, no, they're just gonna continuously fucking give me shit. And quite frankly, I work too hard on my videos for that. And my last thoughts here, not my closing thoughts, but my last thoughts here is about offendedness. That's not a word. Holy shit. That is not a word. People getting offended, or, yeah, pretty much just people getting offended. Honestly, it's stupid. All the power is on you. There's a great man, an absolute great man. I've talked about him on, like, my videos before. His name is George Takei. If you're a Star Trek fan, I mean, I'm not a Star Trek fan, but if you're a Star Trek fan, then you already know who he is. He was, like, Sulu, right? That was his role, Captain Sulu, or, like, Admiral Sulu, Asian man Sulu, gay Asian man Sulu, I don't know, whatever. He is a huge gay rights activist. Probably the biggest gay rights activist in the entire country, to be honest. Or at least, like, from the ones that I know of. And, he has a quote that I live by on the internet. He says that if you see something on the internet that offends you, like you see something that bothers you, you just have to know that, one, it's not about you, and two, if you make it about you, you are going to look like the biggest jackass. Like, you're just going to look like a complete and utter fool. And from my past experience, and from the current experience I have with this, like, you know, person that's been commenting on my videos, the ignorant crap, yeah, he's completely right about that. He really is completely right about that. Because, like, when I was 15, when I was, like, a much younger teenager, I used to be very religious. I'm sorta religious now, a little bit. Probably more spiritual. Way more spiritual than religious, actually, I would say. But, back then, I was straight up religious, dude. Like, I was a Christian man. You know, like, fucking Raisin Bran, or whatever the cereal was, or whatever. And I made it my goddamn business to go around on the internet, look for things that offended me, and, like, type in, because I had a friend who was a pretty radical atheist, and, like, he always, like, posted stuff on Facebook and shared shit, like, atheist stuff, or, like things, and I always commented on those things, like, here's, you guys are doing this wrong, not all Christians are like that, and although, like, I thought, like, I was being, like, a good person, I wasn't. I was making myself look like a fool. The only reason I should have replied to something that I was offended to is if it was literally about me personally. Like, if there was, like, a picture of me, a picture of Nintoonist with, like, a jackass face on or something, or, like, you know, eggs smeared all over it or something, where I myself am literally the target of the humiliation, that's when you talk to somebody. That's when you try and fix it. That's when there's a problem. But if somebody just talks against something that you believe in, or if somebody says a word that you don't like on the internet or something, quite frankly, that's not enough validation for you to come in and ask them to stop what they're doing. It's not. Like, because if you're offended by something, you stop looking at it. You stop watching. That's the only solution to it. I, like, you know, fucking, like, I used to read Cyanide and Happiness all the time. But now I don't anymore, because I didn't like Chris Wilson's, like, comics in particular. Like, his comics just became so much more about his political and religious views, and just making fun of people who had that religious views. And although he wasn't talking about me personally, I was a little uncomfortable reading them. So, you have some options here, and what I did was I decided to stop reading them comics. I didn't write him a fucking, like, you know, 2-page essay paragraph detailing, like, Chris, I don't think you should be talking about these people in these kinds of lights. I, as this insert shitty group here, am offended by you making this little comic, and I will not rest, nor say will I ever sleep, unless you change your ways. Because I can't have somebody else on the internet thinking differently than I do. Nah, that's impossible. What kind of piece of shit fucking loser do you have to be to actually go around on the internet and do that shit? What kind of lowlife do you have to be? And I used to be that kind of lowlife, so trust me, you can come to me for that kind of advice. My friend posted something, we got into a huge... My friend, the atheist friend, he posted something, we got into a huge fight about it. We started saying really personal shit to each other. Like, really horrible, like, personal shit to each other. And, like, I started it too, because I was a dumb fuck back then. And, like, you know, I lost a friend because of it. We never spoke again for, like, I know, fucking a year, like, 2 years after that. When we still don't really speak to each other anymore, just because, like, we're both living our own lives now. Right now, I think we're cool, and, like, if we talk to each other, I think it'd be alright, I don't know. But I made a huge mistake back then, and it took a huge emotional toll on my life, and I learned a huge lesson that day. I learned not to be a douchebag on the internet. I also learned that, you know, when they were talking about this, like, group of people, they weren't talking about me. They were talking about, like, something that I believe in that they tend to don't believe in, and they just disagree with. And they, as a citizen of the United States of America, and just generally as a God-given, free-born person, they have the right to do that as much as I do. And this is what I'm trying to relay this to. We, as a society, we can't live with just this, you know, fucking collective poles up our asses. We can't, like, be offended by every little thing that we happen to find offended and then try and, like, make, like, you know, a fucking cause or a movement as to, like, why, like, this shouldn't be. If you see something that offends you, just fucking ignore it. Like, leave it alone. I'm talking about on the internet, by the way. If there's, like, a civil rights, like, you know, like, disagreement happening, that's not something you should ignore. That's, like, a whole different story. But we, as a society, we can't just we can't, like, just get offended by things. We need to have a sense of humor to enjoy our already short lives, you know? My choir director, we're not allowed to do Christmas songs. We're not allowed to do Christmas songs or, like, even Jewish songs or Kwanzaa songs in, like, the holiday season. Because, like, they just, it's not technically, oh, it's politically correct. Or, like, it just, like, doesn't agree with somebody else's point of view. Like, if there was, like, a concert, right? If then they started playing, like, a Muslim song, right? Like, a Muslim Hindu, like, worship song or something, and that's, like, the song they're doing for a concert. Am I allowed to stand up and fucking, like, say that they shouldn't do that because I'm, like, a fucking Christian? No! What kind of asshole would I look like? Like, to do something so awful? Am I right? Like, you can't do shit like that. You have to be more respectful than that. Then it's like, oh, we're not allowed to, like, you know, sing Christmas songs. Like, even though there are non-religious Christmas songs. And even just, why? Because there are other religions? Like, dude, they can't just fucking stop the performance just because it's something they don't like. Like, they have to fucking deal with it. This is America, motherfucker. Like, the fucking melting pot, land of the free. Like, you can't just stop people from doing something you don't like unless it's illegal. Like, that's the only scenario. Like, it's just... It's stupid. It's stupid that we live with this collective stick up our asses in society, because you know what? That's how wars start. That's how wars start. In, like, underdeveloped countries, like, if somebody just, like, insults the prime minister of that country, they'll fucking declare war. Unlike the other country that, like, insulted them. And that is just one of the dumbest things that anyone could possibly do. We need to have a sense of humor. And I will never, ever, as long as I live, deliberately try to offend somebody on my YouTube channel. Unless it's like a joke, like I do it to my friend, like I did it to Negaman. Like I make a video like, oh, fuck Negaman, haha. But in actuality, I don't mean that. We're friends, you know? But if somebody is legitimately offended by my videos, and, like, they say something, like, and I don't even mean to offend them by saying it. Like, I just say something in, like, a different light, or I say a certain word that happens to offend them. Quite frankly, they can go fuck themselves. Yeah. Yeah, because, like, if I see a YouTube channel that offends me, I'm not gonna, like, fucking comment on them and try to fix them, quote-unquote, as human beings and make them feel shitty for, like, you know, because they say shit like, oh, like, you know, this is probably why your channel isn't successful. And it's like, why? Because I didn't, like, you know, cater to one arrogant moron? Like, what? Like, no. Like, you remember there's, like, a huge campaign to take the word, I'm not gonna say it because, you know, honestly, like, this word, I'm not gonna say because it honestly is a horrible thing to say, like, for a white person. It's like the N-word, you know? Obviously, I'm not gonna say the N-word unless, like... Because, you know, black people, like, have a right to say the N-word because of Richard Pryor. Like, he started using that in his stand-up, and then they felt like it's okay to use it in their speech. But if a white person says that, that's really not okay, because there's really too much history behind it. I know, like, I sound like a hypocrite right now, but trust me, that's one of the only words that a white person can't say. Like, I can say cunt. Like, I can say cunt. Like, hey, cunt. Cunty cunt. Cunty, fuck. Like, I could say that, and if somebody gets offended, that's their problem. But this is a word I can't really say. Like, they're trying to take the N-word out of the new versions of Huckleberry Finn. And it's like, now you're just, like, trying to, like, make these kids ignorant. Because, quite frankly, that was a word that was used a lot back then. It was a really racist time. And, like, you know, you just, like, erase that word out of it, you're literally erasing history. As shitty of a time as that was, you have to preach to these kids the truth. You have to educate them with the truth. But no, we have to be politically correct and not offend anybody. So much to the point where we're going to be lying to these children about what the past was like. What does that say about our society? It says it's pretty fucked up. That's what it is. So if you're offended by something, don't look at it. Stop looking at it, and then instead go and try and find your inner light by doing something you like or by meditating. Those are great things to do. Don't, like, fucking comment on these people, like, saying, like, oh, this is what's wrong with you. I once had faith in you as a person. This is why your YouTube channel sucks. Don't do shit like that. Because trust me, these content creators don't give a fuck if you're offended. They give a fuck about their viewership, but quite frankly, if somebody's offended over, like, slightly fickle little things, they don't care. Trust me, they just trust me on that. They don't care, and they shouldn't care. They just want to make the world a happier, better place by making fun little videos. And if the joke calls for, like, a bad word or something, then they're going to use the bad word. If you don't like the bad word, then don't fucking watch the video. Don't look at it again. That's all you have to do. Wow, this video wound up being like a half-hour long. I didn't mean for it to be that long, but yeah, I'm sorry. Just I had to get this off my chest. I've been meaning to make this video for like 2 months. I had to do it. I had to do it based, like, because I wanted to tell you guys about my past experiences with being a keyboard warrior and my current experience with dealing with keyboard warriors. I had to do it. I'm sorry. But thank you all so much for watching, from the bottom of my heart for watching this video. If any of you got offended by watching this video, that I apologize. And that sucks, but, you know, eventually you just gotta move on from that kind of stuff. Because it's not about you. It's not about you, man. It's not about you personally. So don't take it so personally, man. Lighten up, have fun, go around, like, laugh. Ugh. It makes me sad that there are such fickle people in this world who just look for things that bother them on the internet rather than doing things they enjoy and finding their inner light. Because that's the best way to spend your life. Not like commenting on threads and arguing with people you don't even know. Shoutouts to BandyPat before I end this video here. I feel like he probably really enjoyed this video because, like, he sort of has the same thoughts about this kind of thing as I do. Like, we think very differently on gun control, but he's still my friend. And I'm not gonna, like, fucking lose him as a friend just because we think differently on something like that. Because, quite frankly, what would that say about me? I hope you all enjoyed this video, guys. Thank you all so much for watching from the bottom of my heart. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you did in fact enjoy this video. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter to get my videos as soon as they come out, and I will see you next time.